right. Hello, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Hmm. All right. Ugh. Lift, lift off. Share my screen. Window, and then that's the one. So Lyft's really taking off this morning. I have a small position in it. I want to add to it. Needs to get over this on the daily overhead supply, but price didn't really get that far down, and now they're back into it with the catalyst. I could see this thing just blowing right through it. All right, let's start off with the indices like we always do. Whew. All right. So, yesterday, no surprise. What is this X thing? Oh, why is my... Oh, is my computer doing that dumb little X thing? I don't know how to get rid of that. Oh, I think it's in here. Um... Uh, is it something with this? Ah, there we go. Oh, nope. Okay. We got it. All right, no surprise here with QQQ. I had a kind of a relief day. Had the gap down open, no follow through into a bull move. The bull move was actually bigger than most people probably thought it would be. It's almost a complete V shape, which it is. V shape recovery. Back down to basically the bear brick of the EQ, which is now overhead supply. And you do kind of have reminiscence of a head and shoulder, inverse head and shoulders here. A bull break would mark the daily higher low being set. So I think that's probably the big question today is, does the indices set confirm an hourly inverse head and shoulders to set the daily higher low, and then so on and so forth? If not, it could look like two different things. We can get a bull break with no follow through into a pullback, where then we look to get to the lows and then maybe back down to this level here. Or we just simply break the low pre-market, and then that would be like kind of a red flag of, okay, well, that's not what we wanted to see as a bull. But it's hard not to lean bullish this morning because of this setup. Opening above the prior day close. But we are rejecting from the EMA, our smallest EMA here, we are rejecting from it. So that's really what the bears really trying to accomplish there. But remember, this area right here is just a um, area of potential demand there, or support. There isn't really is a low it's a level of interest again. See if SPY looks any different. So SPY looks weaker. You could already see it based off of the wick. But same exact move for the most part. Um, See, this kind of nullifies the inverse head and shoulders, though, because this you don't want this move up to be higher than that level there. So that negates that a little bit. But again, same thing. This is our overhead supply. Bulls need to get over it. And you can see that they did battle. It's that same level of interest that the on QQQ, but on SPY right here. And once again, we saw pretty early on that it was being defended, right? We saw it here being defended. Bear stepped back in, pushed price down, got through it pre-market, couldn't hold, and then on the open, we back tested it really fast and then made a move up. So that level is definitely an important level, and it's now affirmed by the stock market. This stock's still gonna gap up so hard, I think. I was watching this yesterday, and I just not really great with like falling wedges. And I was like, this looks like a falling wedge on the hourly and the daily. Looks like your break and retest here, right? Like just looks real nice. And I just wasn't sure if I wanted to. I wanted to get one more lower low into this level, which is always my kryptonite. Um, I always ask for one more thing to happen, and then it doesn't. Or I was gonna play a bull break with a back test, which could potentially happen today. Um, or you could look for a quick little 5 minute higher low to get going for that hourly boost, and it just didn't happen. And I just didn't really want to, play the break when we came all the way down from here and up to that level. But it looks like people were just buying the bull break here. But BBY definitely on the table for today as well. But we'll get back to that. Let me stop jumping here. DOJ, Dow Jones, Dow Jones. So I don't know why this was something, but I don't know what. Anyways, it looks like it's some sort of support. This could be some sort of like wedgie type deal too with a bull break, so there might be something to that. We did get the bull break here. So daily higher low is technically set. Do we have the hourly trend change? We definitely do. So Dow Jones looking pretty good. Once again, having trouble with our smallest moving average, which I haven't been using moving averages for too long now, but it's always easier to be like, okay, well, it's clearly riding this moving average. When it breaks it finally, the back test again isn't like it's not a area of resistance per se because you don't know there isn't really a psychological reasoning but why there would be people there. So it's less about people being there. It's more about being like, ooh, like this is not a bad spot to park, right? Like this is not a bad spot to like camp for the night. Essentially that's what it is it's like, oh, we're not going to a campsite where there's already people there, so we're getting pushed out. Like, there's too many people here. Get out of here. There's not enough food. Whatever. Who the hell knows? So it's called the zombie apocalypse. Um, so you go to like a support would be like, we'll picture this zombie apocalypse. You find a some sort of camp. There's 30 people there, and as soon as you walk through the doors, they kick you out because there's not enough food. There's not enough water. There's not enough shelter. That would be, in my opinion, a level of support or resistance that you could say to yourself, okay, that makes sense. And usually that's there from a trend change of sorts or some sort of sideways action with a bull break or even some sort of like double bottom type of base type deal. Uh, Essentially, the best way to describe it is um, uh, the highest close after a significant pullback, the lowest close candle after a bull move. Like that's really what it is some of the main ones. So that you have the sideways consolidation or just clear touches. Those for me are the best ways to find, you know, the campgrounds in a sense. Uh, I think that the moving average is more like, okay, this is an empty spot. There's a river right down there. There's nobody here. It seems okay. It seems like there were people here before. Maybe there was a fire pit that has ashes or something like that. Maybe there was people prior here. Okay, this was clearly used before. This is a good spot to use again. You know what I mean? It's kind of like monkey see, monkey do. I think, and for me, it's less reliable. But in this case, you can see that it was being utilized, and I'm sure there's some confluence too with, like, for example, you know, here. You see, you have this move, you have this support right here. This guy right here, this guy here, this little bear brick and no follow through here. So there's a lot going on, like right around here. So that's exactly where the 9 day was. So it makes sense. Let's see if it's still rotation. So it looks like we had a little bit more movement from XLF yesterday. And XLV again, trying to get back into this range. XLV is like one of those names that is like slowly moving up, and next thing you know, it's going to be like way up here or something. I mean, it was in this range for. So this was the lowest it was. I mean, I guess this is actually, this would probably be like this. This is the highest since this big move down. This was the highest it could go, and this was the lowest it can go. So it should really look more like that. I don't know why I kind of just put into a little bit of a range there, which makes no sense. So now that you have it like that, push it this way. See, it makes more sense that way. The biggest move up, biggest move down. Got your range. Then you have the bull break here with volume. You get rejected here off of the value area low of this sideways range. You set a higher low. See, and you also lose a 9 day there too, but you set a higher low off of, it's basically a break and retest. It's another break and retest. Takes a little time to get through, and then it rejects from the alternative POC. The hardest part about this stuff is that you just never know. Like if you're looking the other way, like let's say you're looking short here, which is somewhat aggressive because obviously it's a higher low, most likely scenario. But if you're looking aggressive here, it's hard to know when you want to get in with the value area low or the POC. And sometimes, a lot of time, it even goes over this. And I think something that I'm trying to do when it's the hourly and daily is the daily in an uptrend. Because if the daily's in an uptrend, then maybe I'll let it try to get to the other side of it. So in this case, it's a weekly and uptrend, and I would say, yeah, it's kind of iffy. But we'll go over Apple. Apple is a great example of that from yesterday. But we have market rotation, so still healthy. Now, don't get me wrong, there were parts of last week where all the sectors hit the low of the day, but it was in an EQ. With that being said, the very following day, um, the very next day, we had a gap down open. So there was money leaving the market on that day. And then the very next day, after the gap down, I believe we had some sort of move up early that had all sectors at the high of the day, which again, ended up just kind of like giving some of it back. So the indicator is a little bit interesting where it's not always going to work, but I think the main thing was that we saw the rotation. After that, we saw market leaving, money leaving, money coming back in, and then after that, we saw the rotation of, you know, um, QQQ going down, but healthcare going up, all that fun stuff. And I think that that really mattered. Bitcoin here going back and forth. I did ditch um, my IBIT play, and the reason I did was simply because it's a very simple trade. You could utilize volume profile, and you could also utilize price action trend changes, right? So it's a spot here where you have um, this very important psychological level at 100. Now, again, I didn't get in on the very first bounce. I wanted to get confirmation. I actually wanted the daily to go oversold. And here it didn't, but here it did. So it's basically double bottom. You get in, and then the first thing you want to see is the trend change. So you get the double bottom, and then you get the break of this level here. So there's your trend change from a price action standpoint. And then you're not out of the woods yet, though, because the real change comes right here. You got to get past this guy. This is sideways consolidation with a bear move. So this is, again, the campsite where there's people here. There are bears here camping out. How do you know? Sideways consolidation. You have the volume to suggest that it's true. And then you have the clean bear break with some nice follow through and some nice volume. So you could say to yourself, if price gets back to here, then there's a good chance that there's going to be bears, and not always. I mean, they could all sell down here. It's once again, it's sort of a guessing game, the probability game. So, but you could assume that there's a decent amount of people here, fighting back, right? Saying, I don't want you to crack this. Um, so this is going to be people holding their positions down, and it's also going to be new people getting into positions, and even more so with like this nice little move up here. So when we got around to POC here, I sold my IBIT. And you could see that, it had some trouble. It was rejecting off the POC, then it got over, got to the value area high, which is a good look. And that's where it gets a little bit confusing. But you got to remember that it's not, the bears are still in control unless this level is correct. So even though it got to the value area high, it's still rejected, couldn't hold the POC. And it got super tricky. Look, it broke down, back tested here, got the lower low. So this is where things get super tricky, and you could say to yourself, okay, when we're inside of these campsites, things get tricky. So be careful, right? Be careful. And here you can see, look, you have the hourly lower high, lower low. There's your trend change on the hourly. Great trend change, rejection off this level, perfect. And then you get this last move up. You sweep all the people who had their stops right above the POC because it makes sense, right? Like we clearly rejected from the POC. You want your stop above the POC, but you want some wiggle room. If you didn't have it, you get stopped out and then the move goes down. So you have to be careful of the textbook bullshit that we were taught, right? Which is, I shouldn't say it's bullshit, but it comes with a lot of nuance because you get into this trading, you're like, perfect, high or low, but off of bearish structure, here's your trend change, boom, perfect. We're going to come down and see this level here, right? That would be the case. We're going to come right down here. Doesn't happen. Move back up, stopped out, then it goes. This is basically saying we know what you're doing, right? We know what you're doing. We're going to stop you out before we go, and it's going to come down here for sure. At least it's going to come down here now. And this used to be me all the time, getting stopped out right here. Because I'd be like, oh man, it's gonna go right here, it's gonna go right down here. I'm gonna get my money, and boom, and then I get stopped out here. Then it goes, and I'm like, oh man, I was so close, but I missed it. And then it's like, should I put my stop here? Here? No, you put your stop here with the ATR buffer. That helps. Because the problem is that you can't really. It's not a bad idea. It's just you gotta be prepared for these little stop outs. Or you see the rejection, you see the lower high, you see this wick, you get in and you put your stop up here. So you don't wait for the trend change. You see this wick and you say to yourself, okay, if this level breaks, then I'm going up here. And then you're looking to get down here. And that's 1.7. So you get kind of screwed on the R, but it's either that or let's look at the hourly um ATR. Where is it? Oh, it doesn't pop up on Bitcoin. Interesting. Then I don't know. I wouldn't know. But you got to be careful of that. And it's hard because it can scare you into taking shorts because then you're like, oh well, let me wait for, you know, I'm going to see this, and then let me wait for the bear break with no follow through, and then you get in, you see the break, and then you see this, and then you miss this because it happened so fast. You know what I mean? You have to almost be waiting for that specifically, which is hard. And if you look at the 5 minute time frame, it's even more scary. I mean, look at that, beautiful lower high, gonna go down. Nope, sideways range right at the value area low again. You get the bull break with the back test and then the break over here. This looks great. This looks great as a bull. And then womp. So here you go. If you're on the 5 minute time frame, here's your entry. Break. There's your back test right there. Put your stop above here. And then you're good to go. Because what invalid, I mean, you could either get in on the back test, put your stop up here because that would invalidate it, or you could get the lower low, and then you say, I'm just going to put my stop above here with a buffer, and and that would, if it gets back above the value area low, I want to be out of this trade. But technically speaking, because the rejection happened up here, the fake out happened up here, this is where your stop should be. All right, let's go to the indices. Oh, sorry, let's go to the, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. Okay. Google was probably a good opportunity to put some more capital in the market. Definitely missed out a little bit here. With that being said, the volume isn't impressive. But we had the gap fill, definitely the gap fill in pre-market. We talked about this trade yesterday. It had to be a quick trade, and it happened pre-market. But then going long could have been a decent play. As you see here, kind of opened in the middle of the range and just kind of shot up. See if there was any plays on the hourly. Eh. Can make cases for some sort of like wedge. But once again, hard to, and then it just kind of takes off. So it looks like It does look like this was some sort of wedge. Now, once again, I'm not a big fan of these, but I guess they're probably more, because I never know if I should use the wicks or I know stay consistent, but like here's a good example of like, okay, if I'm using this, this is two, then you clearly don't get the rising wedge factor, but like the psychology behind it is there. So it becomes like, I guess you got to find it because you have the lower low into a bounce, and then you have the lower low compared to this level, right? Into a bounce. Then you have the lower low into a bounce. So if you do that, like I guess, right? But maybe it should be more like this. It's probably it. Yeah. Lower low into a bounce, lower low into the bounce. That's three. And then you have this bull move up. So definitely some sort of hourly wedge looking for a daily higher low with the 9 day with everything firing off. I mean that's actually probably a really good trade if you think about it because you're above all the EMAs, you're in a daily uptrend. Everything is still kind of like marinating up a little bit there. One of the stronger names. I think that makes a lot of sense. And it had good earnings, right? Yeah. So those type of things like you shouldn't miss. I shouldn't miss. But I am more so comfortable with hourly extended hours on now. I just kind of live and die with that now. So we have Tesla had a nice day yesterday. Tesla once again is a weekly cup and handle, trying to break bull as it didn't break this side yet, trying to break bull here. It kind of had the bull break here. I believe it was on Monday, Tuesday, no follow through. And once again, it's kind of battling back and forth inside of this range. And going back to like the other one, right? This is the high of the move. This is the furthest the bears are able to push it back. That's my range. I still think that there's too many. I'm gonna be grossed out if this kind of just goes on its own. But I think this kind of falls into the category of it's Tesla, it's eyes on. It's a fairly easy setup so far. I mean, you have this bull break from this tightening range. You never even have a back test of it. So now you have all these. So everybody who missed out here, which could have been a lot of people, because once again, I guess playing the break here is fine. Now thinking about it, playing the break here is actually probably pretty good. Even though you could have played the break here and got stopped out. So I guess if you just say, okay, this is either a cup and handle here, you just put yourself below there. That probably would have been the better play. But anyways, if you missed out on this trade here, now you're getting in here for the big old cup and handle on the weekly, right? We're going to go to all-time highs. It's going to be great. Everybody's going to celebrate. It's too easy so far. It's a rising wedge up. It's a gap up open into a bear break, which is expected because we went straight up. You get the lower low here with no follow through. So you get the trend change with the lower low, but obviously, like not even filling the gap is a big um, green flag for bulls. You get the double bottom here. Now you're moving up. You get the bull break with no follow through here. And now you're kind of in limbo again. It's choppy and confusing, which is fine. But I honestly think that we're going to stop out all of these people. I think we're going to stop out all these people. I think we're going to go a lower low. And people are going to look to get in here. It's going to be tricky. It's going to be tricky. I'm okay missing out on this trade until it gets tricky. But I'd want to see stop everybody out. So stop all the bulls out because that's kind of like my A plus setup foundation. If I'm looking bull, I want to see the aggressive bulls get stopped out. I want to see price start to make it look appetizing for bears, right? Back test, gap fill, going back down here looks easy, right? Suck bears in, create that liquidity, put them underwater, and then it will just go nuts. Something like that. I could see something like that happening. So no Tesla for me today. Amazon. Lots of wicks here on Amazon. Amazon's been tricky. We wanted Amazon here off the back test of this weekly zone. As you can see, it was the highest close with the wick incorporated until a big move down. So that qualifies as resistance for us. And you can see it played that way as well. Got back above it and did not back test it because it had this weird little news that came out right beforehand. And again, it's that constant battle between, is it going to come to my level or am I going to front run it? And that to me that's very hard because you could make a case that there was a base here, a little bit of a base here, but I mean it was pre-market. I mean, still don't like it. I think it was just somebody stepped in. Anyways, opening. Oh, let me go back to QQQ and SPY real fast. Figure out where it's opening. It's opening towards the high of its range. Okay, over the prior day close. So Amazon opening towards a high. So nice. We do have the wicks here. We didn't get the back test here, which is technically strong, right? Like if you don't even back test, again, another nuance with stocks, and they're just everywhere. It's like, yes, if it doesn't back test the level of interest, then it means that the bears were so weak they couldn't even back test that level, which means that there's a much better chance of the bulls at least reaching the highs of this move up, right? But at the same time, that means that you didn't get the setup you wanted, and now you have to potentially find something else, another way to get in, right? And then what is that? Do you have the tool set? Do you have the arsenal to do that? And then that becomes somewhat tough. I mean, you could use back burners and stuff like that, right? But usually you don't get the hourly oversold. So I guess you could use like 5 minute back burner. Okay. Well, there you go. So we learned something. I wouldn't call it a back burner because it didn't fire off, but look at this candle right here. Shoots straight down, hits 5 minute oversold conditions, and then there's your buying pressure. So you could still utilize the oversold bounce or the back burner in these scenarios, which again, since that big move up, see, but it already fired a few times, which is the problem. But this was the very first one that didn't work out. So it doesn't get to the level, shoot straight up. So this would be the 5 minute back burner here. It happened in pre-market, so it doesn't count. Okay. So when's the next time? Yeah, but then it gets oversold right here, and it still goes down. So maybe you see so let's see the 15 minute. You see the 5 minute fire off in pre-market. That one's no longer valid, maybe. So you look at the 15 minute. 15 minute pre-market, same thing. Yeah. So it's just not setting up. Just not setting up. I wouldn't know how else to get in. As for now, if you're looking for a trade here, Once again, you have those wicks. It's a big move up. We are trading sideways still. I mean, it's kind of range bound, eh? Kind of right in the middle. So it's kind of like the biggest move up. Bears are going to push it down. Technically, this is still support too. So it's almost this whole entire range. Yeah, Amazon is not really. I still want to see Amazon back in this range, but there's a chance that we can get up to 258 here. I guess keep it simple. You know, look for a bull break of 251 and then maybe look for a back test here. Put your stop underneath that the low with maybe an ATR buffer and see if we can get back up to 258-ish. NVIDIA. Wow, NVIDIA finished. It got weak yesterday? What the hell? Huh. NVIDIA really shit the bed yesterday. Well, so NVIDIA is back here. So again, this is our level of interest. Actually, it's bigger than that. It should be bigger than that. And this one's a little bit different because I wouldn't call this a huge move down, but the volume was there and it was a fake out. So that's why. Like this was the fake out move. Get the bulls in here. Get your bull break. There's your fake out. Stop seem to be above this. So everybody here gets stopped out. And then you get the back test here. Once again, this is a campground that was once filled with people having a good old time. And they're gone now. And we stumble upon this place that looks like a great spot because, hey, it's flat. There's a river nearby, etc. This could be a spot for us to be, for settle for a few nights. Monkey see, monkey do. Now the issue is are people going to show up? So the analogy doesn't necessarily come to fruition at the end of the things because like the psychological aspect of it makes sense. Like, okay, why is it not as important as a different type the other type of range? The whole part of okay, now we need people to show up is I guess going to say, hey, we're gonna camp here and we're hoping other people come as well. Because remember, it's zombie apocalypse, so you want people that are like-minded, I guess. So that's what we do. You set up and you hope to build some sort of I don't know artillery. The cavalry. Let's see what it did yesterday here. So we had this big move down here. This is the trade that I took all the way down. I obviously didn't hold it. And then you have this big move up. Again, I don't know if this would be considered a trend change though. I guess you could, but it's pre-market. I think it was more about getting over the pre-market high. Oh no, that was right here. So yeah, I don't really know what to make of this. I guess you can call it just one move up. It's an interesting question. Anyways, you get this push down right before the open, move up, and then you get rejected here. There was news here, huh? There was some news at the end of the day yesterday, eh? Right back into this range. So what does this tell us here? This tells us again, there are people. This was a suggestion that people are here or people were here. Okay, so the level of interest was okay. Interested. And I think this would be considered more people showing up. So this was okay. Bulls are going to stay here for a little bit. Then it comes back down. This is where more people show up. So this is becoming one of those, okay, there are people here. There is the level of interest here. The analogy kind of doesn't make sense. The more that I talk about it, it's not a great analogy. We're going to try to find another one. I think it's good for separating the two, right? But it doesn't make sense where because it should be that like there might be people interest. I don't know if there's people there. I guess there could be people there, but it's more there could be limit orders there, but we're just not as sure. There's less material to suggest the case. So I guess you could say to yourself, okay, they're here, now they're defending, so it's growing. Can it hold? Who knows? Nobody knows. I just wonder if these levels hold just as well as the other levels do in a daily uptrend. So it's an uptrend. This level, I guess you'd expect this level to hold. I mean, hourly oversold hit here, and you just kept on getting lower, lower, lower. So that wasn't a good sign. Then you get back up to this level again. And then once again, this is a whole entire range. Again, biggest move up, the furthest bears can push it down. You have this big battle here. You have this move up here, push down, and then there she goes. Same thing here. You come back to this level here, and a pure rejection with volume. So now it's a spot where, again, it really is from here to here. And you would think that the bears are sort of might be running out of steam here, but you do have this little double top. You do have the trend change, and then you are at the next level of interest here. But the big level is down here. This is the level that really matters right here. So, I'm actually going to take this off because for me now, the level that really matters is this guy right here. And this would be a zone of demand because you can clearly see the battle here and then the bull break holding the 9-day, the 50-day. Why can't I find it? Okay, there you go. So can I see this range breaking? I mean, if the market stays weak, I mean, you're still above the 50-day. You lost the 9-day. Technically, you lost the daily trend change. You lost the price action trend. There's people showing up here. Boy, is it hard to get into this trade. I mean, I guess you have the hourly range. Let's see what it does in the 5-minute. Here before I can see. I don't want to see. Replay. Okay. We're going to try to really pinpoint if like where we would get into a trade here. If it kind of came to fruition here. So once again, we'd be looking up at this area here, even though this was the 5-minute back burn. That's funny. Um, they can get a little bit confusing. Just like anything else, you could overuse it, and it can get kind of confusing. But you don't want to kind of stay away from it too much of the time if it doesn't make sense with at least some sort of other confluence level or momentum trend. So here's a spot here where the market opens. We shoot straight down. Bulls recover. Shooting straight up. A little bit of a battle at the high of the pre-market, which is no surprise. Still a little bit of a battle here. These wicks are kind of ridiculous. I mean, if you're chasing this, so one thing that I've learned as well with watching out for like the market in general, chasing these moves is never good. Like, you see this, you like, oh, I'm looking bullish on Nvidia today. You see this push down, and then you see this push up, and then you're looking for like a move here, like right off the jump. Like maybe you look for like a 5-minute high or low, quick little one right there, and you get it on the bull break here, and now you're kind of like stuck. Like I still would consider that chasing. I really would. Like the move here was just, a quick aggressive buy and then looking to sell up here. Like that's what people are doing. It's an aggressive trade, but there are traders out here who do that. So now you're sideways here. See, and this is kind of the sign that you might want to see. Let's see if it holds water here. Is that so? You have this little quick little rinky dink higher low right here, right? Then you have this higher high. You get the wick, and you have price come down, and you have price come out and tag the low of that, where there's going to be a lot of like 1 minute time frame stops, right? So now that you get the tag, now honestly, I'd be more interested in going long here because again, if I'm going long, I at least get one of the two things, which is the aggressive bulls get stopped out here. So now I would be looking to go long to get back up to here if it was looking for some sort of a scalp. And let's see if my stop would be under here with a little bit of wiggle room. So let's see if I would get tagged. No, okay, so then I'd be out of the trade. But it was after seeing that stop out. Just, all right, so now let's look for. Now at this point, I'd be looking for potential shorts because we're back in this range here. We know it's going to get dicey because we're back into that hourly range. Okay, so we could expect some dicey shit. So let's be smart about it and make sure risk is low. Big move up here, not loving it if I'm a bear, not seeing anything. Potentially looking for a stair step at this point. RSI is getting really high. Okay. The thing about the stair step is I don't like trying the same trade over and over again. Usually when you see this, like the chart guys talk about it, you want to have at least one or two attempts. You want to have at least 2 attempts at it, maybe sometimes 3. Which, I mean, at that point, do you make any money if you're right on the third? And we could see what price looks like here. So price is above the 9-day. It's above the value area, the developing value area. So this is all very strong. So even though, again, it's very strong, there are things you can, this is where I get a little bit confused because the entry setup is fine, but also you want it to meet some sort of qualification. So for me, if I got in up here, I would still be worried about the value area high here. So if I got in on a stair step, I would have to sell some like right away, which I guess is okay, but I'm not very quick. So let's see. If there is a 5 minute stair step, maybe I take a short and get risk free at the value area high. Oh, value moved high up. Did value just move higher? No. All right, so I'm in the trade here. Stop goes above here, and I'm looking to get risk free right around there. The reason I'm getting risk free there is because it has a little bit of confluence with the EMA and that. So I think there's a lot of confluence there. So somewhere in that little smush zone, I'd be looking to take profit. Nope, not quite yet. Not liking that it held the 9 day there. I did not get risk free. Okay, now I'm risk free. You also get the 5 minute trend change, so that's pretty clean. I highly doubt this 5 minute trend change holds up. I'm willing to bet that this level gets taken out right here, 202.50. Let's see. Trying to, trying to, trying to take it out. Ah, huh. It tried to take it out. Again, we're risk free with our stop above here. At this point, I guess you can move your stop above here, but I'd still stick it here because we're risk free. I still think this level's going to get taken out. I think this level's going to get taken out, and then we're going to see the big move down. We know the big move down happens, but I think that level's going to be taken out before the big move happens. Could be wrong. Slowly bleeding. Oh, we can go a little faster, Paul. Come on. Ooh, did it take it out? Oh, it came so close again. We want it. It was this level here, right? I mean, technically, it did take out this little level, so that's not a bad start. So technically, if you think it's going to take this level out, and then it comes down, and then it hits this little lower high where you get more stops, you actually probably get more stops above here because it is that back test of the lower end of the range back down. So not that I'm um, hedging my bet here, because in real time I probably wouldn't have put that together, but that could make a case too. That you say to yourself, okay, this level is going to get taken out. So when you see this level getting taken out and back down under, then you take your short here with your stop underneath this guy. But I'm still sticking with the original plan. Oh no, there it goes. Okay, well there you go. So that makes more sense, right? So you're in the range here. You're not bearish again until you break back under. Here's your lower high, lower low, boom. This is where a lot of the stops are, for sure. And then boom. But remember, we took the stair step trade. We got risk out risk out here, risk free, stop there, and we benefited from all this. In theory, in theory. Let me be clear about that. But yeah. Now, if you took the 5-minute stair step here and you didn't get risk free at this confluence level, well, then I hate getting risk free because I'm more of an offensive minded person, or I guess you could say greedy. Honestly, it seems that to be the case. But the correct way should be to sell half there. And then you can maybe add back once you get that stop out that you want to see. I can't tell you how many times I'm on this end of the trade. So this is the level. Everybody knows it. Here's your lower high, lower low. You get in, stop there. I can't tell you how many times I am getting stopped out there in the past. But now you see that trade. You understand the market's still sort of bullish. You look for the stop. You look for a stop hunt, back down under. Then you go for it. And then look, it plays out perfectly. You just have to have eyes on it. All right, well, there's your demonstration. Let's continue. So yeah, I don't know what to think about Nvidia today. It feels weak. It feels weak. It's opening at the lows. I mean, this whole entire thing is a level. So for me, you'd have to see a breakdown of the bottom of that level. But there's no POC or anything inside of that level. So it's just rain end to end. Which makes it a little bit easier, honestly. And then once you get into here, it's just nothing. But yeah, I think it definitely wants to get back to here. I mean, I can see it really getting down there. And yesterday, here's just a bear break, back test, and then go. Rejection. Here's your. I mean, there's gonna be bears looking at Nvidia today, and also bulls though. Yeah, this one's a tough one. I don't really know how to play this one. I wouldn't know how to play that one because we're literally still at support. It's held twice so far. Once, twice. It got deeper this time. So if it gets another lower low, how deep does it go? All right. That one's confusing, but clearly some potential bearishness in the semis. Could look for other plays, other names. All right, we have Meta here. Under the 200-day, you have the 9-day looking to cross the 200-day. It's not a good look. I mean, even if you played this thing bullish, you'd have to worry about the 200-day. It's aggressive. It's an aggressive play. One that I don't love because I just don't like being under all the moving averages. It just doesn't give a lot of reasoning for big money to get invested in it at this point. Looks like that QQQ hourly or that inverse head and shoulders is trying to shape up on indices. PLTR. This one is very similar to NVIDIA. I think it's a bit weaker though, because look, NVIDIA had this little sideways range here, and then it broke bull, okay, and it had one, two, three, four legs up. Then you have PLTR that broke bull, and you have broke bull here, and you have one, two, three, four legs up, right? But if you look at the percentages, you could already see it's clearly a much bigger move from here. Let's just see, 10%, 15%. So yeah, Nvidia had the much bigger move, and now we're pushing back here. So once again, it's all that AI stuff. I think that PLTR looks like the weaker name. Back into the range that we want QQQ to go back to play bullish off of. And you can see it tried to hold here. It failed. It's back in. It definitely cracked the level. And right here, once again, it's the highest close with the wick. Big move down. So this level was clearly resistance. Held here, bull break. It got cracked. So you know that level, even though it had no follow, it had a big wick behind it. Um, I think you just have to call it for what it is, which is that level got cracked. And you could say, well, in the daily, but look on the hourly. Check on the hourly. It got cracked. It got cracked right here. And sure, shouldn't have gotten more follow through. Absolutely. But it didn't for whatever reason, because I mean, this whole entire range is a thing. So did it bounce off the POC? Come on. It's not working. Why isn't any of this stuff working? Reload tab. Okay, there you go. There's your range. So this one's kind of a weird one because it's got that combo range, right? This is definitely a resistance level. There's no denying that. But this was a big old tightening range. Ah, shit. This is a big old tightening range right below the level, which then it broke bull. So it's a combo. There's going to be people here and then people there. So, you know what? Like, I kind of take it back now a little bit, because if you're going to pick a level here, are you going to pick this level here, or are you going to pick this level here? I think that you'd probably pick this level here for longs and not here. So I guess what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to erase that. Might be wrong of me. And let's see if pre-market that POC got hit. It didn't. Ah, see that? This was yesterday. You get a push down, fail to get to the POC, crack back over the value area high. So there's you can get in there if you want. You can wait for a back test, bulls show up, get back in there. So this changes it a little bit. So looking for a daily high or low. Failure to get to the POC, which once again is still very strong. Got back over the value area high. Once again, very strong. Trend still bullish. And this is the bears need to break through here in order to get some sort of something. And there's clearly support down here too. Like there was 3 big wicks here. This was the structure high. Held, stop everybody out before they move up. Shocking. Let's see what the hourly. So on what do you want to see now? So you want to see a combination of 190.32 being broken to set a daily high or low. To give you more confidence with that, you'd want to see an hourly trend change. So you get the big move down. This is all one move up. I guess this is your high or low. Pre-market is suggesting we're in an EQ. So I would say this level needs to hold here. So the overnight low needs to hold, or you'd want it to hold in some way, shape, or form. And then you'd want a break of this level here. And there's a little bit of sideways action here. You have a little bit of a flat top here as well. But that's on the wrong side. It's a wrong pattern. But again, we did say that PLTR was somewhat weaker than NVIDIA. So maybe stay away from it. If you're going to go long, maybe go long on NVIDIA. But I don't love it. I don't love going long. There's a lot of, it's tough. It's probably one of the weaker sectors right now that there's anything attributed to AI, semis. Everything's still looking for pretty much a daily high or low. The bulls showed strength by not hitting the POC here. Did bulls try to buy the valley area high as well? Yeah. That's always the tricky part. When you get in on the valley area high, which was a bear flag. Bear flag, 5-minute bear flag with no follow through. Into a back test, a higher high, stop those people out. See, this used to always be me as well. It's crazy. It really doesn't matter what you do with your stops. So you see this, you get this, then you get this little back test here. You think you're golden, going back up to the highs. Then it stops everybody out who put their stop under here and here. Big move down with volume. Then it comes back and then it holds the value area high and starts chugging away. So you say to yourself, do I play off of price action or do I play off of levels? And I think the real question is if you're playing off of a daily value area high, you probably want to be playing you probably want to be looking on the hourly time frame, right? So you get this hourly lower low into a bounce, and here you can get in right here. That's fine. But if not, you want to wait for the back test here. So if you're on the 5 minute, you get tricked. If you're on the hourly, you're fine. The difference is that you just have more risk. So yeah, don't be on the 5 minute. Microsoft weak again at the lows here. Not looking great. I mean, everybody thinks it's going to go down to the 200-day, you would think, but I don't. I mean, this is just stair step rejection right off the 50-day here, which is, once again, a big line in the sand and goes to the same thing as before. It's like, how can you really trust the 50-day moving average to be, resistance there? It's hard to say. You have to be aggressive with it. You just have to be aggressive as hell with it. So you just push down, you get this nice oval bottom here, push up right into the 50-day, which is also these little highs here, high of pre-market, and then it rejects, and maybe you think that you're going to get some sort of higher low off of this level, and it just pukes. Very hard trade to get into. You just have to trust that level, which, ugh, it's so hard to be aggressive in those situations. I mean, I guess this is just an aggressive top fish. High of pre-market plus 50 moving average. It's just you have to trust in your system. Apple here. Talked about the Apple trade before. I made a little trade with Apple yesterday, but I really wasn't sure. I liked my entry where I was just looking for I was looking for the fake out. Wasn't gonna chase like I did the day before because I chased this day. I got stopped out, but I was just looking for the fake out and I got in pretty early, and then I was gonna get to the POC. And a part of me thought maybe I could wait to get towards the value area high of this range, but again, I just wasn't sure. I mean, we do have the daily uptrend, so technically, at least getting to the POC was, not a bad idea. But to get to the value area high, you see that it wouldn't have happened. We could still potentially get there, and you can see that Apple is sort of building again that same old thing we talked about last time, which is that like very wonky head and shoulders here. So you have like the left shoulder, you have the head, and then you have like this trading sideways underneath this hourly level. So we're either going to break bull here, potentially break bull, and maybe look to get to here. And then the other alternatives, if we reject from here, we're coming back down here. And then who knows, maybe even going back down there. But these are the levels here. If the market stays strong, I would suggest um, Apple going upward, and going back to the overall market, like the overall market, the indices do have an inverse head and shoulders on the hourly, and it's kind of joining Apple in what was already this inverse head and shoulders on Apple. So you just have to maybe just say to yourself, okay, well, I'm going to play bullish today if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong, and you have to have a game plan. So I think Apple today is definitely on the table here. The market is set for bulls here to, kind of has the headline too of um, Trump, the tariff Trumps might not be legal, which would then, save all these companies a ton of money on tariffs, which would be obviously very bullish. Where's my notes? All right, so it's more of an even type day. I was pretty much on Team Bull yesterday, at least for the most of the day. Obviously gave back a lot on certain names, but today I'm slightly leaning bullish. Um, but no, I'm a little scared. I'm a little scared that it's being set up that way. So, because I remember last time, I think it was Monday where we were set up really well, right? And we had this rejection off the top of the range and then a huge pullback. So this could be the same exact thing as today. All right, let's take a look at quantum real fast. Oh, it's 8:43 already. Sheesh. Jesus Christ. QBT gapping, almost gapping up here. This one once again off the 200-day. Nice bullish candle, but it is underneath the 50-day, and it has a swooping 9-day. Definitely bearish on the daily. Weekly has been just annihilated. And it does kind of go hand in hand with the AI stuff. Um, I tell you, I do like that it had this stair step, bulls buying, higher lows set, stopped out these bulls, stopped out these people here. So I do kind of like this name for at least a quick play here. But the problem is these sometimes get me in trouble because again, it's at support here. The support has been tested quite a lot already. Yeah, I don't really know. I don't know how to feel here. I don't like that it had the bull break over the 9-day. Should have gone to the 50-day. Did not, came back under and now touched the 200-day. So it seems like it's kind of all over the place. Like these spots, I wish I had more of a clear mindset in these exact spots. Like, okay, it's here at this level. Now what am I looking for? And that would have been a daily stair step here, right? But once again, it gapped up here. So that kind of ruined it. So it took the play right out of my hands. Then you look for the higher low. On this day, this is actually probably a really good day to look along. Then again, you're probably thinking it's going to the 50-day, so you probably get stopped out and now you're down here. Minimal volume. This is definitely a doji, but more so a hammer opening towards the high here. It has a 200-day been. I mean, the 200-day has been, an interesting level here. And with all the hype behind it, you would think big business is potentially looking to step in. Big, big market movers. Daily isn't oversold. Earnings are near on Friday, November 14th. That would be my birthday. Yeah, it kind of goes. This kind of goes against my rule set of being under the 50-day and the 200-day. So I'm gonna move on. I was kind of looking bearish in the sector, anyways. as the RGTI is above the 50-day, but again, I don't love like this range here. Breaking bear, no follow through. Breaking bull, no follow through. Here's your bear move. Doesn't quite get down to that level here. It actually held this level here, this little guy here, which isn't much of anything. Now it's battling here again. So I don't even know what the stock wants to do. I mean, clearly it wants to get back into this range here and go up, but it's already done like the fake out here. So now it's kind of like in here. So is this going to be again? I mean, it kind of has that same look to it, doesn't it? So I guess the broader market will tell. And again, it's over the 50-day. I do think it wants to get down here, but sometimes I get fixated on spots when this is clearly the stronger of the indices or of these names. And then this one's kind of very similar to RGTI, smush zone. So all right, we'll pass on that. How's IBIT doing? Yeah, battling this 200-day. That was the other reason why I sold the IBIT, because of the 200-day on the backside. I wasn't really comfortable with that. Vistra is down. That means CCJ is down. Not as bad. I mean, Vistra looks like a short coming up here. Oh, it had bad earnings. Oh, Jesus. That's not good. I mean, Fisher down to the 200-day looks like a potential play. This one little tiny fruit fly. It's driving me fucking nuts. I mean, this is a huge range here. Because again, this was the furthest the bears can push the price down for a big move up. Held here, held here. Now there again with earnings. I mean, it really does look like a short here. Could get tricky. CRML. Smush zone. Did Silver's trying to do this daily inverse head and shoulders. Gold is trying to get back into this range here. I don't know what to think with metals, if I'm being completely honest with you. How's steel doing? See, these are the hardest plays when you're looking for a higher low, but you have like this like somewhat of a range. It's just anywhere. The difference between this and the other ranges is like anywhere in this range where you start to see some sort of bullish action, then you can maybe make a play at it. All right, we did all this. We talked about NVIDIA. We talked about Ugh. How's this LDP doing? Hmm. Let's run through these real fast, then we'll end the stream. Amazon is not a bad play either here. So I guess Amazon or Apple would be. Mirror off the 50-day. BA losing its 200-day. If I got back over it, I could potentially look for a potential along there, but it doesn't look good. LAC. Ooh, LAC. No, are you kidding me? Did it have earnings today? Oh man, this is exactly where I would have wanted it. I would have loved a long there. Damn. Even though it was under the 50-day, but like it's hard because it's a weekly level. So if it's a weekly level, looking for a weekly higher low, daily isn't oversold, but you're in your level. You gotta assume that you're gonna be underneath some of these dang things, but you're still holding the 200-day. Yeah, that would have been a nice little play. How did it pan out yesterday? So the problem is on the open it shoots straight up, and it's like, how do you avoid that? Like it's right at the value area high of this range. It's like, do you just ignore that? Because then it just sinks back down. God, that's so hard to figure out. That part right there is so hard. Because you can take the L there, then you come back in, get the double bottom off of the low, rejection here to end the day, and you're like, ah, I don't know. It's still in the range, can't get above that. And then pre-market it gets above it. It's a $5 stock. The weekly definitely gave back too much. So I guess it would be good for a day trade or overnight hold, but that's about it. MU, RXRX. Watching Mindmen off of the 50-day here. Hims bearish, looking pretty good here off the 200-day. Damn. But again, I could see this coming back up to wipe this out here. You see how this is like, I guess it was a momentum trade, but you have this bull break here, suck in the bulls, and you have this little lower high here, lower low. tough trade to make at the 200 day. You go from here to here, that makes some sense. But I would do a bunch of stops above here. I could see us coming back up here, hitting this, and then moving down a little bit more. So let's make an alert for that. SAP still trading like shit. BMR not in a great spot. Disney, Smush, UNH, trucking down. Get down here and I'd be interested. Definitely if I think that XLV is going to go bananas, so yeah. We talked about BBY this morning. I mean, it did get rejected from the damn 9-day. It's a pretty big rejection there. There's your hourly bull break. Usually you look for some sort of hourly high or low. I mean, this thing could just open and go. Just got to keep an eye on BBY. A lot to look at today. BP still flying. Dicks. Ooh. Huh. This looks interesting. Sideways range forever. Stops out everybody that was in here. Double bottom and straight shot up. Sideways range at 200 day. This actually doesn't look like a bad play. I mean, the weekly is just trash. But it is sideways. This could be the beginning of a big move. Potential monthly high or low being set here. Huh. I mean, it doesn't have to be much wiggle room. What's the daily ATR? $1. So it'd have to be here. Minus $1. So it's going to be 34.69. It's pretty far down. Oh, it's literally underneath the 50-day. That's $1? Jesus Christ. That's a lot of buffer. Freaking big fucking buffer. Makes sense to pay attention to the trade. All right, I like SLB for a long here. I mean, these ATR stops are just so far away, dude. Like, oh God. Jeez. Kroger down. Walmart looks like a short here. Walmart looks like a short here. Yeah, but it's just not enough meat on the bone, right? Like, what is this? Oh, it's almost 4%. This looks like such a good short, I think. So you got this move up, trying to back test. Nothing, nothing. Gets to the 50-day, tries a hold, fails. Gets down below. Maybe you think that the bear's going to show up here. They don't. Come up here, hit the 50-day. Yesterday, you sub all these people out. Don't quite get there. I mean, the stop would just have to go on the top of this range here. I mean, that's such a wide. Jeez. That's a 1-to-1. Can I get a better entry with that? I guess now that it's back, I mean, maybe I can get an hourly lower high off of. There you go. So boom, stop those people out. Here's your hourly lower high here. I think Walmart's a short. Yeah, Walmart's a short. All right. Got to decompress a little bit before the market opens. I'll talk to you later.